any time. This morning, the Government Accountability Office released its 8th annual report on opportunities for the federal government to reduce duplication, overlap, and fragmentation, and to achieve other financial benefits. Over the course of 8 years, the GAO has highlighted more than 300 areas of such waste and inefficiency in the federal government and recommended nearly 800 corrective actions. I first want to thank you, Mr. Dodaro, as well as your entire staff, for the excellent work that they do. This report provides the opportunity to highlight duplication and inefficiency throughout the government. Many of the issues we will discuss today will lay the groundwork for future hearings and legislative action. The federal government will save an estimated $125 billion by 2025 based on implementation of GAO recommendations to date. Through congressional action and actions by executive agencies, 52% of GAO's recommended corrective actions have been fully addressed and closed, but that does leave 48. The GAO's annual report shows us persistent effort to address inefficiencies and resolve wasteful spending can collectively provide a significant benefit to the public. 52% of actions addressed is a good start, but the other 48% need to be done. We could save billions more by taking action at just 3 agencies: the Department of Defense, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Department of Health and Human Services. Through GAO's annual reports, more than half of all corrective actions have been directed at these 3 agencies. Yet, all 3 have more than 40% of recommended actions still open. For example, GAO estimates Department of Defense could save more than $9 billion by identifying opportunities for consolidating or reducing the size of headquarters organizations. GAO also found that the IRS could save billions in fraudulent refunds by improving efforts to prevent fraud associated with identity theft. GAO has recommended the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services take steps to improve the accuracy in diagnostic coding practices for Medicare Advantage payments, which could result in savings of billions of dollars. GAO does find in this year's report the IRS has had some success in reducing millions of dollars of fraud by simply delaying the date for sending refunds while it verifies critical information. The committee would be interested in hearing more about this particular effort. The federal government has an obligation to taxpayers to avoid fragmentation and ensure effective program coordination across agencies. Disagreements over policy might lead to disagreements over appropriate spending, but wasting tax dollars because of a failure to coordinate is simply unacceptable. For example, GAO's newly released report shows the Department of Agriculture has an entire seafood inspection program to ensure the safety of domestic and imported catfish, while the Food and Drug Administration is responsible for the safety of all other seafood. Having a separate inspection program for one species of fish is an example of inefficiency we hope is an outlier. But if we are going to have this type of fragmented seafood inspection system, we expect close coordination at a minimum between the 2 agencies involved. Unfortunately, the GAO has found the 2 agencies are not coordinating well. In fact, do not even have common standards for public safety of the fish they inspect. All federal workers must embrace their role as fiduciaries for the American public. Everyone should consider it part of their job description to avoid waste and ensure tax dollars are being used effectively. GAO's annual report provides an important roadmap to tackling known waste and inefficiency. We know there is only so much GAO can do. It is up to agencies to take your recommendations to heart and to act on them. And it is up to us in Congress to act in many cases. But as we will hear, agencies need to take action more rapidly. In some cases, the solution to reducing overlap may be evident, but practical or political challenges may be an impediment. In other cases, an agency or Congress may lack basic information about whether a program is functioning as intended and simply obtaining better data is a critical first step. We look forward to discussing why recommendations remain open for so long and what this committee can do to help the agencies gain greater efficiencies and avoid wasting tax dollars. I look forward to hearing from the Comptroller General today on ways to reduce wasteful spending where it has been identified, as well as areas where agencies can take steps to avoid spending in duplicative ways in the future. I now recognize the ranking member of the committee, Ms. Eleanor Holmes Norton, for her opening statement.